Orpheus versus the Sirens is the latest album from Brownsville rapper Car, and it is under the pseudonym Hermit the Recluse. Car has gone under multiple pseudonyms in the past, but I have personally preferred his work under his own name, Car. Albums such as The Knight's Gambit and also Honor Killed the Samurai. Both fantastic hip-hop albums, so do go check them out if you never have, especially if you're a big hip-hop head and you prefer your rap to be more lyrically dynamic than the average rap artist that's currently popular. But do be aware that this isn't something that's incredibly accessible and something that's going to click with you straight away, especially in its unique sound and its minimalist approach. And Car continues that exact theme and approach that he's been doing pretty much all his career on this new album, Orpheus versus the Sirens. Something that I'm not completely against at all. Plenty of artists stick to a very similar theme throughout their careers, and it usually works well for them. But this time around, we're getting a completely different lyrical arc from Car as he delves into Greek mythology. He really goes in on these references to Greek gods and everything from that time era that we know about, as much as we know about anyway. And it is absolutely incredibly difficult to unpack. I'm not gonna lie, this is an incredibly intelligent rap album that you're not gonna get anywhere else. Like, I don't think there is a single rapper out there today that's currently still rapping and making music that is as intelligent as Car. If you can name that person, then go for it, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to win that argument. Of course, we have amazing other lyricists out there too, you know, Milo being one of them, Kendrick Lamar. There are plenty of them. Billy Woods, so many out there in the underground and in the mainstream too. Joey Badass is a great one as well, but like, Car just has this way with words that just sounds so poetic and sounds like you're reading like straight out of a philosophy book, and his references sometimes are just so difficult to decipher, and I have to read over the lyrics multiple times and I'm still not entirely sure if I'm interpreting it correctly. And I can guarantee anyone that knows Car and knows this new album especially will be doing the exact same thing with the lyrics easily. I would be very surprised if you could read these lyrics and understand it from the get-go. And I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't help me connect with this album very well. Like, it's really difficult to just understand everything that's going on when you've got to read it 5 or 6 times and you're still not entirely sure if it's a reference to a Greek character, like on tracks like Hades and stuff like that, or in fact it's a metaphor and he's referencing it to himself and his own life. I do definitely think we do get that though on a track like The Punishment of Sisyphus, where it definitely seems as though he's looking back on his own life and exploring the things that went well and the things that didn't go well, but overall he sees his life as a success. After all, he is a firefighter, so I must imagine that his life is incredibly difficult but also very rewarding at times. I mean, he's in his late 40s now and he's probably got some tough challenges that he goes through in his day-to-day life. And that experience definitely adds a different perspective than any other rapper out there for sure. And to me, it's pretty plain to see what Car is doing on this album. He's essentially using these references and applying them to modern day life, because they do in fact have modern implications to them. You can sort of generalize them into human existence and stuff like that. I think that's pretty noticeable on the track Companion of Artemis, Artemis being the goddess of hunting, and this track focuses on hunting, where, you know, you could either be the hunter or be hunted and stuff like that. And honestly, just listening to Car drop so many introspective life advice, life-changing slogans and phrases is pretty much what I live for, to be honest. He's just so good at like wording things in the best kind of way. It's amazing to listen to him in his music. Like, I would love to meet this man and just hear him reel off all his thoughts, because I'm sure it's pretty incredible. And I know that this album is totally a backpacker's wet dream, and underground rap heads are gonna have, a huge orgy over this album. But to be honest, I do think it's flawed, and I don't think it's a great album, to be honest. The thing is with Carr, and this is something that I've noticed with this album now because he's so many albums into his career and I've heard so many of them, that I think he often focuses so much on the themes and the lyrics that he just somehow forgets to write a tune and write a song. Carr's got the pen game, you know Carr as a rapper, then you will know his lyricism is unbelievable. But to be honest, out of this entire album, the only hook I say is like notable and actually like solid in its sound is on the track Fate. Out of an entire album of 10 tracks, only one of them stands out to me, and 9 of them blend together in one pretty big mush, and it's very hard to tell them apart. It's not really a good sign. I've said this so many times about like underground rap albums. I said it about Armand Hammer's album last year, that you've got the lyrics all there, but you need to know how to make a good song. And I just don't think the production on this album is up to snuff at all. To me, it sounds really basic, to be honest. Like, I think the blaring sounds that play throughout every song is almost copy and pasted onto the next one. There's nothing separating each song apart. They all blend together. Carr drones on in a pretty monotonous way, to be honest. And I don't know, it's only like a 30-minute album, but it gets old after like 10 minutes to me. And I've said before that I love Carr's previous work, The Knight's Gambit being one of them, but I think the production on that album had a bit more to it. It was more tasteful, It wasn't just like minimalist rapping the whole way through and it was the same beat the whole way through. Like, this album is that though. It just really makes it hard to hone in on the lyrics, which is the strongest feat of this album, when the sound of the album isn't grabbing you or luring you in. That's a really big issue for me. And this album is incredibly thought-provoking, there is no doubt about that. But albums need to be thought-provoking and also enjoyable, and it's only one of those things. You need both, to be honest. I mean, to be fair, sometimes you don't even need an album to be thought-provoking and you can still enjoy it. Artists like Kero Kero Bonito, Playboy Carti, that kind of stuff that doesn't really have much substance to the lyrics, but you can still enjoy the sound for what it is. But in this case, like, the sound just isn't there, and I think that's one of the most key elements to making an album good. That's not to say this album isn't good, I'm not saying that. There are some great moments that I do like musically, but for the most part, it's just not enough to keep me going throughout the whole thing. Listening to this album feels more of a task to me, because every time I put it on, I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what he's saying, I'm trying to figure out what the theme of the song is, what the entire overall theme of the album is, and it feels more like of a chore than an album listening experience. And sometimes that can be amazing for music, when you kind of pick out lyrics and you're like, oh, I didn't notice that before, oh no way. But that's only something that you can enjoy when the music in question is something that you're liking while it's on. With all that being said though, it is overall a good album. Like, I can't take that away from the man. He's incredibly talented. He is filled with so much wisdom, and he is an absolute friggin' wordsmith. He is brilliant as a lyricist. Like, it's just undeniable. So I'm gonna say it's a 7 out of 10. I think this is a good album overall. Probably gonna go down as one of the better albums in hip hop this year, to be honest, because I don't really think it's been a great year for rap. I mean, in my opinion, I know a lot of people have enjoyed the albums that I've sort of bashed and stuff like that. It kind of just ends up being that way anyway, but yeah, it's still a good album. I think Carr's next step though is to sort of make some different type of production. This is going to start getting old real quick. I mean, I just want a bit more life coming out of Carr when he raps, I want something different with the production. I want a song, a good tune, something new from him. I think he needs to change it up. But let me know your thoughts on this one. It's certainly a polarizing album for sure, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Have a good day. Check Carr out because he's a great musician and rapper. Bye.